Okay, give me a second here.
Is everybody ready? Okay. All right. Well, good morning to everyone. My name is Catherine Mendoza, and I'm a community organizer with United Against Police Terror San Diego, and also a member of the firm. As a part of this organization, UAPTSD's mission is for advocating for victims of excessive force and police conduct, informing people of their rights, lending support to those victims of police conduct and brutality, as well as denounce the harassment and violence, intimidation and arrests, and abuse of power by police forces such as the Sheriff's Department. We hereby denounce the actions of this Sheriff's Department ridiculing us and our mission for justice for the community who we serve, in particular calling protesters demanding justice in places like Ferguson as animals. Andrew McKay said it best when the author of the email sent to us called real citizens, or they separated the protesters from real citizens. It confirms San Diego sheriffs, like many other law enforcement agencies, county and countrywide, treat people with dignity, while others are treated as lesser beings. This email is the product of a culture rooted in racism and supremacy, as shown in racial profiling and 32 documented cases of people killed by the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Their names are as follows: Robert Gary Teschner, Junior Sylvester Clark, Michael Stainwich, Jose Malacra, Paul Reynolds, Daniel Price, Federico Adame, Lionel Hernandez Guerrero, Ibrahim Hassan, Gilberto Torres Ramirez, Damone Edward Cook, Jorge Ramirez, Jesus Eduardo Manzo, George Schaljurger Jr., Franklin Joseph Rhodes, Kenneth Drinkard, Shane Anthony Hayes, Samuel Epping, Marquin Anthony Hendricks, Craig Lane Peterson, Robert Allen Moore, Christopher Lee Panofsky, Gary Kendrick, Simone Hubble, Corey P. Schwarzenbach, Robert John Medina, Fred Scott Horton, Richard Navarez, Jeffrey Dale Gray, and Michael Paul Napier. This email and the 32 people lost is proof that there is no empathy or respect for our community members practicing our First Amendment rights and living here in San Diego. We have a right to free speech, hate speech, like in the emails from the sheriffs, stating human beings are animals was written by those who seem to have no problem taking innocent lives. It also serves as evidence that it is in fact law enforcement who is dividing everyone into allies or enemies. Thank you very much for your time. Next, we have Jeff Olson from the Socialist Alternative.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Olson. I'm a free speech advocate from the North Park neighborhood here in San Diego, and I'm a proud member of Socialist Alternative. And this Socialist Alternative and organizations like that are interested in this case because this is a really shocking use of this is really shocking abuse of free speech. People like Kat and Aaron, who work for United Against Police Terror and do amazing work, they don't deserve to be on the receiving end of hate mail that comes from the sheriff's office. it would be shocking if we didn't live in a county where our sheriff was the person in charge of the FBI when Vicki Weaver was shot through the head while holding a baby. This kind of behavior from the sheriff's department wouldn't be surprising if we didn't live in a county where our district attorney takes money from Mexico and prosecutes hip-hop artists for recording rap albums. This kind of behavior wouldn't be surprising, but for the fact that we have to deal with this kind of thing every day. So a person named CiscoKid1560@gmail.com sent an email to United Against Police Terror San Diego, and it was very threatening. It described protesters as animals. It referred to the county, and it also came from an IP address that is located here at the Sheriff's Department. So what we really need to do next, and what Sheriff Bill Gore needs to do immediately, is reveal the identity of this employee, terminate their relationship with the county, and the sheriff needs to make it clear that that kind of behavior is not going to be tolerated by his employees. That's not too much to ask. This person doesn't belong working for the county in any capacity. The email is disturbing. It's grammatically horrible. It has bizarre spelling mistakes. It's written in all caps. It really brings to mind the question of the mental health, maybe, of the person who wrote it. When you read the text of it, it's confusing. It maybe was written under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's definitely worth reading and checking out. And it was brought to you by your taxpayer dollars because it came from the sheriff's office. So it'll be exciting to hear from Bill Gore about how he plans to deal with this. And I feel like that's the minimum that we can expect from him.
How do you know Bill Gore himself didn't send it?
That would be interesting. There are some clues about who sent it, and the person's identity may be revealed whether or not Sheriff Gore does that on his own volition.
Hey, we got word that the sheriff's tried to quash this press conference yesterday.
Oh, I'm sure he's not happy that we're here. But you can't stop Kat and Aaron from United Against Police Terror.
Did they ask you guys not to hold this press conference?
Well, they wanted to know if it could be settled. I wanted clarification as to the work that we do. I wanted people to know what kind of communication we received from the San Diego Sheriffs, and that it's not so much we're wanting to fight them. It's like we're just advocating for the families of people that have been brutalized and killed, and we're practicing our amendment right.
Are you aware that one of the names you mentioned was the San Diego Sheriff deputy who was killed during a home invasion robbery? Michael Sandwich?
Really?
What happened, it was many years ago. It was out on Coal Ranch Road out in the Leavenhagen area. They did a raid on the house. They noticed there was hundreds of thousands of dollars in the safe. 2 days later, Michael Sandwich came back to rob the place and was beating the grandmother and the grandson. And one of them was able to break free and call the sheriff. And when they shot Michael Sandwich, the radio call came out, "Deputy down. Deputy down."
That's what happens when you shoot first and ask questions later.
Can you read the email?
Sure.
Thank you.
This should be fascinating. It's very bizarre.
Thank you so much.
You know what? And anybody who's looking, I'd be more than happy to forward any kind of information regarding the backup of the email itself. Okay.
Excuse me, could you stand in the middle?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay, is this better? Those kids. Fuck you, you stupid pieces of shit. Man, you guys got some straight up hate on this website. And a whole 2,000 of the millions of residents and law-abiding citizens in San Diego County actually like you on Facebook. That makes sense though, because this website is a bunch of stupid bullshit. The police aren't the problem, it's the criminals out there victimizing the real citizens of this country that are the problem. The decriminalizing of theft and drugs, which is the root of more than half of crime. And thank God for gang injunctions in which gang documenting procedures. This allows the judicial system the tools to get extremely violent. This allows the judicial system the tools to get extremely violent people off the streets for good. They keep forget Ferguson, for Christ's sake. They protest police by destroying their own town, attacking each other, looting and stealing from hard-working business owners. Animals, no values, no common sense, just greed and hate. The real citizens of this country and nation, the ones who don't commit crimes or work hard, the ones who pay taxes, don't commit crimes, don't accept government welfare, love the police, and want the propaganda to shove it up your ass. You will never succeed because there are too many of us and too little of you. The good people of this country and county will always prevail over scum like you. Good luck, you're going to need it.
Brought to you by your San Diego County Sheriff's Office.
How'd that make you feel?
Well, they are shaming individuals who have addictions, what came to my mind. They realize that people need, it's considered an illness and they need a proper treatment. They don't need to be criminalized. Gang documentation, it's very small. There's very, it's very easily to be documented as a gang member if you're in San Diego and you happen to be black or brown. For Ferguson protesters for the murder of Mike Brown to be called an animal, it just perpetuates that lesser of being, and how much racism has been. It's still present to this day. It's still 100 years of racism that we still need to overcome.
With all the issues that came out of the San Diego Sheriff's Department, you know, they've got CCWs, they've got children beatings, they've got First Amendment issues. Do you think it's time that William Gore steps down and resigns?
You know, I would love for... It's so small for me to say William Gore needs to resign. There's so many more sheriffs that need to resign. The sheriff department needs to be defunded. They have enough time on their hands to be doing this. There's a lot of laws that I don't feel that we need to enforce. There's a lot of, I really think, instead of constantly having somebody resign and having the same person fill their spot, I think we should look at the budgets for giving the sheriff department, the San Diego Police Department, and figure out what money we can allocate to community members and not to police. If they have time to write this to us, then something is seriously wrong.
This is your taxpayer. This is your tax dollars at work, and when this is your tax dollars at work, and when a county employee that's sending these hateful emails to activists could be spending their time actually fighting crime, or going after employees who are doing wage theft against their employees. There's plenty of crime happening in San Diego. And this just proves that more money doesn't equal safer streets.
I'm sorry we're coming to this late a little bit. How do you know it was done on taxpayer? Like, was it done from an IP address that's within, like, during tax time?
This email was sent from an address called CiscoKid1560@gmail.com, and the IP address that they used comes from the sheriff's office. So it was fairly easy to trace it back to a computer that came from the county. This person may not have been doing this on clock, but they were certainly doing it on
this property?
a computer and using an IP address that belongs to the county. Clearly identifies as one of the many IP addresses that are associated with the sheriff's office. Remember, this is the same sheriff who is so embarrassed of his record at the FBI that he had to take down his Facebook page. You know, San Diego Sheriff's Office has no presence on Facebook because Bill Gore is so sensitive to criticism that he would rather be off of Facebook than have to interact with the people who he has sworn to protect and serve.
And there's no way, you guys had a tech person kind of trace this, there's no way it was like a Wi-Fi bouncing off?
You can do it yourself, it's so easy.
It's very easy.
You can use any reverse lookup on Google makes this so easy on you.
There's just no possibility that it was like hitting a Wi-Fi that's in this area. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there any wiggle room that it definitely didn't come from?
When you send an email, it timestamps which computer that you're using.
Okay.
If that was possible, it would be an embarrassing breach of the sheriff's IT protocols.
Okay.
So at least if it's fake, he needs to address that. If it's real, he needs to address that. Either way, he has to address it.
Okay. Sorry, we're coming to
presented this to the sheriff's department. How did they respond?
Sorry.
We did forward this to the county clerk. They said they were looking into it, examining what the turnover is for a complaint to actually be completed. It can take up to a year. We're not going to be waiting, but we definitely are glad that this is out there as an issue.
In the meantime, this person is still on the county's payroll. This person is still at work, probably today, doing their job, working for the county, sending hate mail to activist groups. So, you know, it could take a year. This person may be on the job for that whole time, but that's also par for the course around here. I mean, the killer of Victor Ortega still controls the neighborhood where his widow lives. That's what we have to deal with now.
Can you talk about just a little bit, like, that we have a national... Oh.
1 moment up. Take 5.
Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, there's a microphone to make sound.
Our apologies for that.
Can you pick up?
Can
where
you
left
talk
off,
about,
please?
yeah, just a little bit about, like, there's this national conversation going on about police tension between communities and, you know, what's a step forward, or what can the sheriffs do to kind of mend this if this did indeed come from them?
Sure. Well, if it didn't come from them, then I think all these websites that say that they can look up the location of where the email came from is incorrect. I'm very, very sure through everything that we've researched, it's the San Diego Sheriff. The bigger conversation is what they said in the email about calling Ferguson protesters animals, not real citizens, not the ones on welfare, and it's really classist, shaming, racist language. So even if somebody was to be fired, or if we were to demand their resignation, which I think that would be suitable, what does that say about the culture in the sheriff's department that is breeding this? So, I mean, it was a question of why is this person assuming a job to protect and serve, or to keep the peace, if that is not happening? It's very concerning. It's very concerning.
Sheriff Gore can easily fix this, though. He can identify this person and terminate their employment. I mean,
Right.
It's just that simple.
And that you think the community would be satisfied with that step? I mean, would that ease the tension that's sent by this?
You know, I'll never be... So my organization documented about 400 cases, 400 in San Diego, dating back to the 80s, of people brutalized, killed, etc., from every branch of law enforcement in the county. And I am not going to be satisfied until the families deserve justice, until we don't have another person killed by police. That's not part of the equation. That's not what we're advocating for. We're advocating for people's lives. We're human rights activists. We're not looking to start anything. We're looking to practice our amendment right to freedom of speech. We've never provoked police. We've always made principled stances at city council meetings. We've always, practiced our peaceful right to protest. And we will continue to do so for the families and everybody who we work with. This is our neighbors. This is our community. It's extended family.
Are you guys filing a lawsuit concerning this incident?
I can't answer that.
Anything else you could tell us about this?
San Diego has a long history of chilling free speech. There have been all kinds of crazy cases. The city attorney tried to throw someone in jail for using sidewalk chalk. The district attorney tried to throw a hip-hop artist in jail for recording rap music. Now the sheriff is harassing activists who do work protecting people who've been abused by law enforcement. We've come to expect this kind of activity around here. It's no longer unusual. It's kind of par for the course.
Do you think this rises to the level of a federal crime where the FBI should be looking at this?
Well, we know Bill Gore has a lot of friends at the FBI, so that wouldn't be hard at all, would it?
have they said anything in response at all so far?
They
Like,
said they've received it and they are investigating. I don't know what that is besides. But like I said, we're just going to be handing this over soon. This is the paper copy of the complaint. We're just going to be walking it over. And we just wanted to put it out there what we're about, and we just wanted to say what the work that we're doing. We're there, we're here for the community, and you know, this kind of attitude is not right. And obviously there's a much bigger culture here that people aren't talking about the sheriff. So.
There's something you can do too. There are all kinds of movements to reform the Citizens Review Board around here. There's a hearing tomorrow at City Hall. People are interested in getting involved. There's lots of ways. Catherine's group needs help. There are the Overpass Light Brigade has actions around town all the time. There's lots of ways that people who care about this issue can get involved.
Can we do one-on-ones? One-on-one and then somebody speaks Spanish?
Heard?
All right.